Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. He who by whom the world is not disturbed, who is not disturbed by the world, it's free from excitement, elation, depression, envy, irritation, all kinds of disturbing human emotions, anxiety. Those are the people who have understood their nature to be very intimate as my own nature. So Jiva Atma's nature, Paramatma's nature, Aikyam, the same Atma, the same self, the same consciousness, the same existence. One without a second consciousness, one without a second existence. The one who understood that somehow has the samsara problems, all these different unpleasant human emotions largely diminished, if not totally gone. Therefore, the person is free from elation, envy, fear, anxiety, and expectation, frustration, irritation, anger, uh, excess of passion, and so on. So we have seen that Swami goes a little deeper on the psychological aspects of all of these. He was talking about the person who is very sensitive and the person who is unsensitive. So the young is the one who is sensitive, yet he is not disturbed by the world. So how so? He does not need to shut down or to close one's heart, not to be disturbed by the world. It is undisturbed in spite of the disturbing world affecting him, affect his body, let's say, and his mind to a certain extent, but not so much. So how to explain that? The Yan is free from the world, yet living in the world, experience Parabhada karma, but not identify with any of that. So the Parabhada is largely diminished because of lack of identification, because of standing in awareness, in consciousness as a witnessing principle, witness conscious principle. I was exchanging some message with a friend of mine who studies Vedanta with me for the past 10 years. She is from Joanópolis, Rutinha, Silvia, and she was explaining the latest Parabhada karma happening in her family. And it was very interesting because the person is there making an effort to not be moved. He should put a phrase which is very nice. This world is a revolting ocean of wild experience. Revolving ocean of wild experience. So meaning she'll say she's being hit over and over again for things by things. And now she's 70. She has my same age as I. And she started having some disease as well, happening to the body, which is something relatively new. So how to not be affected by Parabhada, yet Parabhada is hitting you. So you have to shift your identity to this witnessing consciousness, which is not an experience entity, but it reflects in one's body mind as an experience entity, and this experiencing entity, knowing its original nature, somehow enjoys this emotional balance, this feature of witnessing without emotional involvement to a large degree. So it's something inherent to one's true nature. Once one's true nature is firmly known, claimed, and established, one's apparent nature enjoy certain feature which belongs to one's true nature. Therefore, Parabada is going to come, but there will be a sense of freedom from all those emotional problems. So, does the Yanni need to close one's heart not to experience Parabada? No, it would be absurd, Oh no, I'm a Yanni, I am total dispassion and emotional non-involvement and vairagya, but I don't experience any emotion at all. If you shut your heart, you don't experience, bad, adverse, hitting you, but you don't experience the beautiful aspects of life, You don't experience empathy, love, compassion, and so on. So we need to be like a rose, open and fragile at the same time, knowing that nothing can touch that flower, the flower that resides in one's heart as the very, very self of all of us. So is this flower, the self, is it really fragile and vulnerable? Yes and no, because you know it belongs to Mitya, the, the physical manifestation of the flower, but what it represents is something that we call Satya, the only reality, that which is offers the substratum of Mitya without being touched by Mitya. This is the best construct. It's a substratum. It's just holding together Mitya without being touched by Mitya. Again, we have to use some of our best analogies or symbols, such as space. It somehow accommodates the entire cosmos without being touched by the cosmos. So, bottom line, the young is going to experience bad and good experience, but more like a spectator on the cinema hall watching a movie with the least possible involvement with the play. So this process refines the body mind of the yani, or the highly evolved devotee, to the extent that he or her somehow uh, is careful with relating to others. It's very mindful on way to relate to others, understanding that people are in profound pain, and they may cry for anything, anything. So you need to be careful. Handle these people with love, care, and sensitivity. But don't expect people to handle you with the same sensitive, because sensitive is something we developed in pure souls and highly developed devotees of the Lord. So don't expect the same come from others. Understand that the others are being moved, governed by a lot of Rajoguna, Tamoguna, manifesting as insensitivity, lack of discrimination, inability to to act in harmony with certain laws and principles. So therefore, you take some inadequacies or insensitives coming from others, knowing that they are suffering from samsara, lack of discrimination, lack of vairagya, manifesting as ragadvesha, and a lot of disturbing, a lot of actions, compromised by the excess of raga and vesha. These sensitivities can only be supported by spiritual wisdom, as we know, maturity, in other words. Very rare to find mature and sensible and refined people. Very important that we do not expect it. Okay, we have seen all of that. I have disagreed a little bit with this exposition, knowing perfectly well that it's impeccable from its academic construct. You know, the Yanni is as if he's very hard, like a diamond, when he is receiving words and deeds from others or life circumstance. He's hard. No, he's just wise. Therefore, he does not get disturbed because he stands in such a, he knows that everything else is mithya. And the jivas operate in mithya, they are being governed by ignorance, and it's expected that they behave without sensitivity. So you don't need to be hard like a rock. So Swami talks about some text in which Shankaracharya somewhere or somebody else wrote in regards the glory of the yoni, meaning to say this kind of individual or highly developed devotee of the Lord. Swami goes into another area of psychology here, saying that the yoni does not hurt others, therefore he does not feel guilt at all. Only when we hurt others we develop guilt. So the yoni does not hurt others, does not have guilt. So, and how about the anyani? The anyani is going to experience guilt. The harder, the more insensitive is the anyani, the least guilt one's experience as well. When he is very, very hard, insensitive, he may be hurting people. That's the definition of psychopath. The people who govern this planet, they're all psychopaths, no exception. So they don't experience guilt because they have no sensitivity, no empathy, no compassion, no love. So the Yanni does not have guilt, and the psychopaths running the planet do not feel guilt at all. So the Yanni, on the other hand, is very, very sensitive, and he's very wise. He experiences love and compassion, and therefore he does not hurt anybody and does not experience guilt. And when it hurts somebody, it does not experience guilt either. I'm making some side points here because if we look at the structure, academically speaking, it's white, black and white, but the Yanni may hurt some people, but does not experience guilt. Okay? Not because he's insensitive, but because he accepts that Maya, this avidya, this ignorance, residual ignorance may still be operating here and there. Compromise one's response to the Parabada, and mistakes are possible here and there as well. So the Yanni is overall free from hurting others, although some mistakes are possible. In either way, he does not feel guilt, she does not feel guilt. Understand that all resolves in Ishwar, the Ishwara system. We all here as Jivatmas doing our best. Some people do not understand what's the purpose of life. We had understood. We do our best, yet we accept our limitation, the limitations inherent to our body-mind nature, our secondary nature, our apparent nature, but we are establishing a conviction in respect to our true nature, our original nature, our real nature, as consciousness, which is beyond all pair of opposites. So yanis are free from disturbing emotions such as hurt and guilt. No? Yanis makes very little mistakes, if any, but in either case, Yani does not feel guilt because the identification with the doing experience entity was broken in the process of Atma Yana. Then he receives a title according to our scriptures as a mukta, a liberated. Jivan mukta, liberate while still a jiva. A jiva is reflect consciousness associate with the body-mind complex, meaning to say reflected consciousness, which depending on the body-mind to reflect. Jivan mukta, liberate while still associated with your jivahood, let's say. This jiva mukta, when we say that he is liberated from what? For what? He is not liberated from one's lifestyle, from one's kind of dress, one's roles in society. We are talking about inner liberation, inner freedom, in spite of having to comply with society's rules and roles. And how we can see if someone has achieved or has enjoyed the fruits of self-knowledge, described here as inner freedom. So some of these signals or indications are being presented here: Harsa, Amarsa, Abhaya, and Udivagaha. These are four terrible things which can make mind a burden. Overexcitement, we saw. Yeah. So overexcitement, elation, which was present in the verse. So excitement, Swami here presents another nuance of this psychology. It says there is a subtle but important difference between excitement and overexcitement. Excitement anybody may feel. Even a yoni may get a little bit of excitement, not much. But overexcitement is a problem because what is overexcitement is when my Viveka Shakti is compromised. Because when I'm over excited, over enthusiastic, we lose discrimination. When we have a small, mild excitement, you may be able to still hold your Viveka Shakti at good shape. So we should always watch and not fall for the highly rated attraction of passion, as people say in the world. Passion, you have to have passion, and then you go get things done and accomplished. Because those are going to raise strong emotion that are going to rob one's Viveka Shakti. Never forget that excitement, overexcitement is temporary. So what happens when we get too excited? We lose objectivity. We develop unreal expectations. Like when I decided with Silva to move from Italy to United States in 2001, and we lost objectivity. At least I did lose objectivity. I got excited, and we almost lost everything we had with that challenge. Our savings, I mean, and my health as well. So you get excited, you lose objectivity, clarity. You develop wrong expectations. I can go and be successful there as well. This is due to lack of objectivity, lack of discrimination. And this is going to create shock, reality shock. I expect things, but I'm getting a different result. I'm expecting success and I'm going bankrupt, for example. Therefore, excitement is no good also for the physical body, as we know. It may kill you in different uh, ways. The next problem is amarsa, which is restlessness, impatience, intolerance, and then Swami goes about explaining people who are uh, perfectionists. They are very righteous and they are judgmental and they don't have any accommodation or tolerance to other people's imperfection. Perfectionism is good, makes you a little better as uh, taxpayer, and but in any case, it's going to develop a kind of personality which is generally irritable and grumpy. Therefore, amarsa means irritability, expectations, frustrations, and what are the signals? Impatience. Islam goes to the tradition. His favorite example of impatience is to see people driving in India. It's chaos. I mean, everything going in one, and then everybody stops in a crossing, and then there are signals you don't know even which signal is for which side of the road or the crossing. And everybody is wah, bah, 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 without patience. And then even before the light comes green, they already took off. So he likes to present that to illustrate people's mind under stress, under impatience, you know. So there is freedom from all these things. You're going to be more accommodating, more tolerant, more patient, more balanced. You know, stress is going to greatly reduce, if not completely or nearly removed, or just not so often visits. You know, visitors are some little stress. Bayan means insecurity. The next one is Bayan, insecurity, fear, fear, fear. So everybody knows what fear and insecurity is. That's why it's one of the most important pursuits in human life. Everybody wants to find security, which translates here as the removal of fear. But how can we remove fear? In a world we have no control, in a world Parabada is hitting us without giving any previous notes, and then there's no way to feel secure, especially once you cross a certain age, like I was talking with Ruchina today, and then there is something new coming up with your aging body. So if you are not a yani, you're going to experience insecurity, fear, anxiety, and so on. And what are you going to do with all this fear? So it's better you don't grab the sari of your mother now that you're an adult, but you can grab the sari of Ishwara, you know, or a Swami. It's going to be represent Ishwara, the Swami. So, but just know that you cannot hang on to the sari or the dressing of a Swami much longer. You have to transfer your dependence to Ishvara, and then from Ishvara, you can move into independence. There's no need to lean on anything as a means to offset your chronic fear or insecurity. We are so vulnerable, you know. So human beings are so vulnerable. Anything may happen at any time. The body, the physical body is vulnerable. Some serious disease may just hit you at any time. Just got a message. Silvia sent a message who an old friend of mine associated with Shine World passed away recently. I don't know if you guys heard. And he was with cancer for a long time. It's good maybe that he was freed from that pain. But anyhow, the body is very fragile and vulnerable and can get hurt anytime. You can just fall after a certain age and your life takes a totally different direction. You break something. And sometimes I remember because I move around so fast here in my land, I have to remember I'm not young anymore. If I break something here, especially being alone here, it may be a little challenging. I have to be careful with my steps. So the best way is avoiding what? Stress, avoiding mindfulness less. Because that's when sometimes we are most, subject to hurts and accidents. So on the physical level, we are very fragile. We cannot have security with our physical body. Physical body is managed by Ishvara, and Ishvara manage our physical body using its laws of karma. So karma is a combination of infinite numbers of factors beyond our comprehension, but we trust Ishvara that he's delivering our best possible karma, even if may drive us into deaths, premature deaths being the most dramatic one. So we have this element of Kalaha, time is there affecting everything that came to creation. There is no way we go around the insecurity and the limitation of our physical body. None, in spite of whatsoever medical advancement, we're gonna die. Why are we gonna die? Because we were born. Well, we. What is we? What am I? You're not the body. And then who were born? Nobody was born. But that's another conversation. But here we understand this kind of conversation. We are the immortal consciousness. We have seen the four stages of bhakti, which conduce us to the Jnana Yoga, the last stage of devotion, the highly most elevated stage of devotion, in which the individual soul enjoys a particular palam, which is Jnana palam, misunderstood by nearly everyone in the spiritual circles around the world. The person who comes to reap this palam is referred to as Jiva Mukta in our tradition. And this Jiva Mukta is not something that you're going to enjoy after death, because after death, nobody is interested. Oh, I mean, a lot of people are interested, huh? And no, it doesn't matter. I'm not doing very well here. I'm suffering a great deal, but I'm sure that I'm going to go to one of these celestial locus and enjoy these celestial pleasures. So the thing is that this kind of palam can never be verified. The scriptures of the Vedas here and there mention about that. Some people more inclined to mysticism and exotericism, they want to believe it, but these are all beliefs made beliefs based on words, human words, not the scripture words, because there are different kind of words. You know, one is the word coming direct from Shwara to liberate us. Those are the words, the Upanishadic words. You know, but within the entire Vedas, there are a lot of misleading words, which is adyaropa. We use it and then we throw it away after some time. Okay, including all these constructed blockers and this and that may serve the purpose to motivate people to observe Dharma. Okay, and then it gives those notion, oh, pa, there is this, and then you're going to enjoy, but you're going to come back, or this and that. So none of this is verifiable. This is all big time Ajarupa. We don't want to have these esoteric mystical benefits. And how about miraculous powers? No, we are not interested. In fact, Krishna does not mention about any of these miraculous powers in the Bhagavad Gita. So, and then what is the phala? What is the benefit for the Jiva Mukti? Enjoy a mind which is free from all the regular disturbing emotions. And then people look at it and, oh, only that, you know, I want something extraordinary. You know? Yeah, that's all there is to it. And it's not 100% freedom from emotional disturbance. As Swamiji says, it's maybe 89%, but that's as good as it's possible. And if you want it, you have to work hard for it. If you don't want it, so you just live as a samsara, enjoy pleasure and pain, knowing that according to scriptures, which cannot be verified but can be inferred, but there are many, many pointers that allows us to infer that we come here with loads of raga dvesha that could only be produced or have been produced through past incarnations, you know. So we trust the scriptures, but even those words present in the Vedas must be based on logic, good inference, good, you know, indication. And then we have a certain degree of trust in the fact that samsara is a cycle of life and old age, disease, death, and reincarnation. So it does make sense. Is what makes most sense among everything I have seen or read. But it's not the aim of Vedanta to prove that you were born in the previous like this and like that. The goal of Vedanta is only to free the individual from samsara, these disturbing emotions that somehow makes life a burden, you know, burden. What are the regular disturbing emotions? We call it the disease of samsara, the sickness or illness. Swami resumes the samsara. This is for the first time I see him comprising it in one single word, which is a sense of self-inadequacy. So I'm always, Swami Dayananda used to play around this concept, sense of inadequacy a lot. So sense of inadequacy is something due to total identification with the body-mind sense complex, which, due to its inherent limitation, makes mistakes right and left, especially when it is under the spell of avidya, ignorance of spiritual principles, spiritual knowledge, you know. So this spiritual, religious, spiritual ignorance makes the jiva not observe Dharma and therefore make mistakes here and there, and then it feels guilt. And then from being guilt comes a sense of inadequacy. And some people becomes very hard not to feel even guilt and a sense of inadequacy. That is not something good. It's something that they rather should soften up and start feeling the hurt they have brought to others and the hurt that others brought to him to become human again and to make an effort to observe Dharma and follow this fundamental Dharmic rule. No injury. Don't do to others what you would not like done to you. Therefore, Krishna defines moksha here as freedom from fundamental mental disturbance. That was, and that list is enumerating in the 15th verse, which we are seeing the last class, the verse that I just read. So they were enumerated as Harsa, Marsa, Baya, and Advegaya. It's a constant fluctuation of emotional disturbance. In one moment, I am excited and hyped. I feel extremely excited, elated. And another time, I go to the opposite and I feel a little bit depressed. It's like walking any sport. Some moments it seems your team is winning and then you feel excited, and then things turn around and you feel depressed. So what is the fun about watching these sports? For a long time, I was questioning myself why I am hooked to these football games, sports, you know. It creates discomfort. But sometimes win-win. Okay, but you win, you're even, or you lose. So you have one third possibility of experiencing excitement, and but it's side by side with suffering. So what's the point of experiencing these disturbing human emotions? Addiction to emotions. Addiction to emotion. There are people who address these vasanas at the biochemical level because these emotions produce certain chemicals that make someone not only psychologically addicted, but also physiologically addicted. Just to see how crazy it go, you know. So one has to be very, 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 very vigilant to note all the defects and the ups and the how you say what you gain, what you lose, the value of going through these human emotions because it has a hard price, a price tag, a high price tag attached to it, which is it's going to worn out your physical body and your Viveka Shakti as well in the process. This, you know, always fluctuating, changing, disturbing emotions because even elation, excitement of a victory disturbs your all your systems, your physiological systems. But it's better than nothing. At least I feel alive, some people would say. Lately, I enjoy watching soccer again, football, and I see some programs in which the supporters do in the YouTube, and they suffer so much and they build expectation and so on. I looked at that and say, okay, I like to be informed about how my team is preparing for the game, but this is crazy. Why to live a life like that, subject to so much suffering due to expectations? But it's better than not to feel anything. These up and down, swinging moods and feelings, I win, I lost, and so on. All of that will disappear. If we win, I'm really happy. If we win, I'm really happy that so many students came to the class, and I won't be surprised if a late comer is asked, what is the latest score? Okay, he was talking about people coming to the class. There was an important game of cricket, and he's giving a hint that he said, "Oh, I'm very happy to see that some of you guys came to the class, although the cricket game is happening now." But he say, "But I'm not surprised if someone is coming later, come and everybody's asked, what is the latest score?" So this swing, this up and downs, constant. This happens to according to my will and plan, and this is enjoyable game, but all since all these are happening with beyond my control. So we say it's okay. I enjoy human emotions, It's enjoyable game, it's excitement. As I was saying, I was asking myself for quite some time, what's the point? I've experienced these emotions. Jesus called samsara. I am at mercy of Parabadas beyond my control, and I want more. I want more. I want more. And I want to play. The ultimate play may be roulette, the one that he used to play in the far west United States, the roll, the revolve, boom, boom, boom. Can you imagine more excitement than that? Therefore, Harsta, we talked about. Next one is Amarsaha, which I talked about. Intolerance, lack of accommodation. Intolerance, I cannot accept the success of the other team, the other part, the other people. If I fail, I want everybody to fail as well because I'm very competitive, very competitive. Decency in failure is the most difficult thing. So, Swami Paramarthananda once said that the true success is the ability of taking failure and defeat, as happily as you take success. So this is the ultimate success, to take failure with equanimity, which is the most difficult thing, that Swamiji is saying. I cannot accept failure, and I cannot accept success of other people, especially if this other people is kind of my rival, my neighbor that I don't like, or in the field of professions, it belongs to the same field of profession. So if it's from a different field, I can accept, that scientist won this Nobel Prize and so on. Great, great. So I'm an engineer. I was not at that level of competition. So it's not my field. So I'm glad for him. But if it was an engineer, So the very top just out of my mind, if somebody on the same field in my profession, I become competitive and jealous, envy. Some goes to the extent saying that even in the fields of spirituality, spiritual religious circles, it can happen as well. He says, I have got 100 devotees, but the other one has got 110. That is envy, problem, Oh, that guru has more students, more of a following. So jealousy, lack of proper vision, objectivity. Some say that all other weakness or problems or human emotions, you may have a cure, you may have a remedy, but there is no remedy for jealousy. Jealousy is very difficult to find a remedy. That's why in all fields, even in spiritual field, people are jealous of others. It seems that it's a human uh, condition, difficult to be cured. I mean, it's totally based on sense of insufficiency, inadequacy, and competition kicks in. And then I say, oh my God, I'm not good enough. Therefore, I feel envy. You know? And jealous brings problems at all levels. Uh, if someone is free from jealous, this someone will admire people's success, people's superiority in certain levels, compared to oneself, even if it is in my field. Just imagine a doctor. Doctors have huge egos. They can admire the superiority of one of his colleagues. Every doctor can admire the superiority of a football player, but no doctor is ready to accept the superiority of another doctor. And then Sam plays a game, a joke that he likes when this stop comes into place. He says, I went through so many doctors, finally, now I came to see you, doctor. So how come? How did you find me? In the internet, here and there? No, no, no. I went to my doc. Who was your doctor? Doctor so and so. Oh, but he's a fool. He's stupid, that doctor. And then the patient say, okay, and then I should not follow his advice to come to see you, because if he's a fool, he has given me bad advice to come to see you. What foolish advice he gave you? Yes, he told me to come to see you, so I'm leaving. I don't trust the doctor, including the advice of coming to see you. So, moksha is said to be freedom from all of this. Just imagine what a wonderful state of mind. You have got a good word about everyone. Somebody asked, what about that Swami? Everybody has got some wonderful character. He's doing that wonderful job. One Swami may be serving society, another Swami may be teaching, another Swami may be doing miracles for good purpose. So therefore, the capacity to admire and have a good word for all Swamis is a pointer of a wise person, which is something that Yanis generally enjoys. Here he was presenting a Yani, a Swami, may be serving society, another Swami may be teaching the scriptures, another Swami may be a yogi with siddhis, miraculous powers. And there is no need to criticize the ones serving society or the ones teaching or the ones doing some siddhis and with good purpose. So the one who can admire all diversities are people in the same area as oneself is a yani, basically. With a magnifying, Brittary says, with a magnifying glass, a noble person looks at the minutest good quality of others, and the minus point he sees with a concave lens. This is a very nice point here. A positive person can have a kind of magnifying glass able to see, in spite of so many defects, to see good qualities on any and every people, That's a good quality. It's good indication of wisdom. We all have this lens, but the problem is where we use that. We use the lens to find bad defects, and we don't like to use the lens to find small virtues. So humans like to find defects on others because humans under the spell of a video feels also in competition, feels inadequate, insufficient, not good enough. Therefore, it hurts see other people's superiority. So I want to see other people's inferiority. It's a very simple psychological mechanism. That's called samsara, and therefore harsad muktaha. The yani is overall free from envy. The next one is bayaj muktaha. It's a sense of insecurity, fear, innate fear. We've seen it. It begins from our childhood. Actually, we come into this world in the womb of a mother with our bag of desires and fears. So we have that fear right inside. And but we feel relatively secure in the womb. Once we come out in contact with this external world, that fear somehow manifests and start nagging constantly. Brittari, in one of his Satakams, Vairagya, Satakam talks on Vairagya, he says the fear is because we hold on to wrong things, and most of the things we hold on cause one most most of the things we hold on causes one form of fear or another. So anything we hold on to is going to cause fear. So this is an insight on the nature of fear. As we know, fear builds in from the very beginning because we sense right from the beginning that here the game is experience of pleasure and pain, and we don't like to experience pain, and then we try to avoid pain. We fear pain and we love pleasure. Okay, so we have this fear built from the very very beginning, fear of pain. And then we develop the concept of God, Saguna God, and we hear that Saguna God is going to protect us from great fear, from great pain, you know. So we try to hold on to Ishvara to get protection against great pain, great fear. But it's not that simple. You need to become a wonderful, highly refined Kami Yogi to develop real good vairagya, leaning on Ishvara. And here it said fear is because we lean on things of this world instead of leaning towards Ishvara. And then he gives a list of things which generally we hold on to. And these things are going to cause even further fear. It's going to cause further insecurity. If we hold on, we lean on things which do not how do you say, contain inherently security, we're going to experience fear in spite of leaning against those things. Swami often brings the example of the cupboard chair. So if you have a cupboard chair, don't sit or lean on it. You understand? But if you insist to sit on it, you're gonna fall and you're gonna feel insecurity again and again, and more fear. So you are trying to lean on something that does not support you, and then you fall, and then you have even more insecurity and fear. You have to lean on something that is the only support of the entire world, the entire cosmos, which is your very nature as consciousness. Anything of this world we want to hold on and lean upon, even Ishvara, is going to still, you know, leave you dependent. Even leaning upon Ishvara reduces the fear, brings about the understanding of the nature of Ishvara and its system, and then you develop more vairagya, more viveka, but yet it does not completely solve the problem, as we know. So there is only one way to get rid of insecurity and fear is to be totally free and independent, even from Saguna Ishvara. For example, if we have a party, you go to a party, having a gala time, enjoy all kind of wonderful food and drinks, and this is very enjoyable. This is very much relates to my situation with my pre-diabetes and cholesterol or anything like that, because we enjoy pleasurable things, and food is a big source of pleasure. And then comes a point that you have to make a balance and see, okay, so now I have to further cut the intake of pleasurable foods. And then I have to get educated about how I got to this condition and, what can I do to minimize its effect. So, but then there is a gala time with wonderful food, and I want to engage and enjoy. So it's going to affect my sugar spike, blood sugar spike, create pressure, you know, all kinds of things, affect cholesterol, different effects may come. And then Swam goes and complains to Ishwara, say it's absolutely incredible, but anything that's very pleasurable is not good for our health, he's saying. So, I don't know about that. But most of the things that are not good for our health, they are products that somehow culturally or organically uh, developed addiction. They bring about addiction. The most simple example is sugary food. So it's one of the most damaging things to the physical body, and it's highly addictive. Papaji was so addicted to sugar that it was difficult for the doctors to keep him away from all those Indian heavily sugar sweets. This is ignorance. The ignorance develops raga dvesha. Certain foods develop desire because it brings us pleasure, and then we want to enjoy. Because we cannot have knowledge of all fields of knowledge. So as long as you're not paying the price, you don't want to look to understand what blood sugar spike causes to your liver, to your pancreas. Or you don't want to look into those things. So we just enjoy life. We don't have the discrimination. We don't have time. Moreover, as a householder providing to family, you don't have time to do some research to understand what is healthy, what is unhealthy. There are so many people that remains focused on that, yet, there are so many factors that it's very difficult to find a perfect balanced diet. For it has to be designed for every everybody according to our age and so on. So at the end, it's better we just be moderate with everything, enjoy some pleasures without abusing, watching out for addictions, you know, any addiction such as watching movie over the weekend, one after the other. Swami is saying here that is going to create emotional and energetic problems. So here he talks about being proud of your family lineage and so on. My grandfather was so and so. I belong to this great family. I'm proud. So another characteristic of Yanni is true humility. You never develop vanity or pride. Okay, this is arrogance. This is ignorance. Yanni has removed this one's ignorance in the fire of Atmayanam. So there's no question of feeling proud by anything. Anything belongs to Ishwara. Ishwara bless us so that we can do our small contribution. Otherwise, we're going to suffer. We're getting old, and then our pride is going to go. My physical beauty of the youth is going to give space to middle age and old age and wrinkles. And I have never met a very old person who is beautiful. And I'm going to be attached to everything, including the vanity of belonging to a family or my children, our culture, our nation. I said recently to my Brazilian people that it's unbelievable. The Aniani can take pride in anything. It can take pride even over its own ignorance, you know, because no, I don't want to know, I don't know anything, and then you see that it's coming from a place of vanity. So I'm so superior that I don't want to know anything of this world. You know that one, Ellen? Dayananda beautifully says the biggest, oh, it's done. I say our biggest problem is the fear of what other people say, what they are going to think about me. Constant fears there, even about that. If the children do something, what the neighbors are going to say, if something happened in my family, if something bad I did comes to light, I'm gonna have to move town, because it's gonna be a scandal. So scandals spread very fast. Good things do not spread. That is the president of Brazil. Publicly, he said not long ago, my mother told me, you have to lie all the time. When you lie, exaggerate, it spreads very fast. When you say the truth, nobody wants to know. Whatever you do good, that will not go very far. But if you do something bad, that spreads very fast. Then how I'm going to show my face outside, how I'm going to survive, and so on. So fear of my self-image being destroyed due to certain events. I'm going to lose the respect and the prestige people had towards me before. In Japan, they used to commit suicide when they lose that self-respect. Okay, so how about becoming famous? No? I want to be famous. I want to be known. I have a certain reputation. Reputation is the word I was remembering. I was associated with someone who was very, very concerned about his reputation as a guru. Was very, very highly disturbed about people attacking his reputation. And once I mentioned, so what the hell? Let them talk, man. Why to be so attached to your reputation? But anyhow, are we good for Monday? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Om Shwara Namaste. My dear friends, love you. Thank you. And we meet again soon. Bye bye.
Okay, many thanks, Arlindo. Okay,
Thanks.
see you Monday.